So if you're not filming yourself while you're playing, you're missing a prime opportunity to make sure that you're doing what the pros do. Here's a great view of Diego Schwartzman. And just make sure, by the way, that you follow and subscribe to 12KGP Tennis, who owns this video. Great footage, just insanely good, their footage. And they've got great new stuff up from Indian Wells, so I'd highly recommend that you go there. Put their link in the description. I want you to look at Diego here before contact. Notice his strings are closed. This is absolutely vital. Even here, his strings are closed. Strings are facing down toward the ground. And that's what's allowing him to swing up the back of the ball with confidence. You need to impart topspin on the ball. It's like extra gravity. If you're someone who, you hit the ball and the ball just sails out, you need more spin. And the way you're going to do that is prior to contact, at the moment when you've got the butt cap pointing at the ball, have your strings facing the ground, a closed racket face. That allows you to spin up the back of the ball. So this is also known as high, low, high. So notice his racket is high, and then the racket goes below contact. So this right here would be the low. And then look at his racket after contact. Now his racket is high again. So this is the high, low, high type of swing. You got to use high, low, high for speed and control. Now, one thing I want to show you is the use of his left arm. This is something that you see with Grigor Dimitrov, how Diego's left hand is way over. In fact, it's kind of the hallmark of their swings where the left arm is actually over to the right of their racket. But I want you to watch as the racket drops, how he clears the left side. So this is really important to be able to create racket speed, which you're going to use for both ball speed and ball spin. Notice as his racket goes down, that's when his left arm clears. Watch this. As the racket drops, that's when his left arm clears. That's rotating the body. That's actually what allows for the butt cap to point at the ball. If you're someone who struggles getting the butt cap to point at the ball prior to contact, then it's actually due to your left arm, or I'll say your front arm, not clearing as the racket drops. That's actually what's going to pull, since your shoulder's clear, this actually pulls your hand, which snaps the racket behind your hand, which then what? Gets the butt cap to point at the ball. Again, closed racket face. Then he swings up and then he finishes. So when you film yourself, make sure that you've got the high, low, high swing, but that you're doing it with a closed racket face at the bottom. And just to really make your forehand awesome, make sure that as the racket is dropping from that high to low position, that your front arm is clearing. That's what's going to get your hips to turn. When your hips, your shoulders, sorry, I didn't have the tool there. There you go. Your shoulders, that's what's going to allow you to swing up through the ball with speed and control. Now to help me demonstrate this, I've got the Topspin Pro here. You know what to do. Grab my affiliate link in the description below. It would mean the world to me if you used my link to get a Topspin Pro for at-home practice. So thank you so much. I say it so many times in so many of my videos. You need to film yourself. Film yourself hitting on your Topspin Pro. Film yourself just shadow swinging around your house. Film yourself during your matches, during your practices. You need to know what you look like. And then you can start comparing what you look like with what you're learning in my videos. So high, low, high. Turn high, go low, go high again. High, low, high. The pros, they all have some variation of that type of swing. When you drop, and here's the absolute key to topspin and being able to control the ball, tilting your strings down. Now, I don't care if you have an Eastern grip, you got to close your racket face. Semi-Western, full Western. Strings closed when you drop the racket. Now, as you drop the racket and your strings are tilted down toward the ground, that's when you're going to clear your front arm. So you're going to turn with both hands over to the right. And then as the racket drops, that's when your front side will clear. That's what brings your hand forward, so the butt cap points at the ball. Remember, strings closed, and that's what's going to allow you to spin up the back of the ball. Again, the nice thing about the Topspin Pro is you can see the ball spin. That way it gives you the instant feedback. You get the visual of seeing it spin and the feel of the friction and what it actually is supposed to be and feel like when striking the ball with the racket. So when your strings are closed prior to hitting the ball, that's what allows you to swing up the back of the ball in order to spin the ball. You watch so many recreational players, and I teach about a dozen people a week on Zoom where they send me videos of their technique, their forehand, backhand serve, whatever, and then we go live on Zoom. I put them side by side. We're talking. It's a private lesson live with me, and
I would say at least half the players who send me videos of their forehand to do a lesson with me, and if you'd like a lesson, go to 2minutetennis.net to sign up, the racket is straight up and down. When your racket is straight up and down, you will either have it wide open when you hit the ball, you will be forced to hit flat, so no spin. You can't hit a topspin lob over someone's head. You can't dip the ball down there at their feet or for a cross-court pass. Or the racket has to roll to get the racket to face forward, which is such a short amount of time to hit the ball that that window of opportunity is so fleeting. It makes for a very inconsistent forehand. So when you clear that front side and that racket face closes, that's when you're going to spin up the back of the ball. So high, low, high, point your strings down toward the ground, and then as the racket is dropping, that's when you're going to clear. Now, I will ask you to catch the racket in that front hand, and the only reason is just the amount of control that it gives you, and actually having an ending to the swing is something that is a really cool add-on to a forehand. Yes, do the pros, or I should say no, do the pros always do this? Absolutely not. But for recreational players and club players, an immense amount of control comes from it. So make sure that you are filming yourself and closing your racket face. Hit on the Topspin Pro. Again, use my link in the description, and I'll pin it in the first comment as well. Tilt the strings down toward the ground and go up the back of the ball. When you make this happen and you get the ball to rotate over itself, that is when you are no doubt going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.